Yes, thank you very much for having me, Flow State, Marty, and Andrew for being here. I'm bad at opening statements. I'm still learning, but I'm going to keep it short. Porn is absolutely good for society because society is not perfect. Our opponents probably are going to tell us this perfect place, utopia, where nobody indulges into sexual deviancy or goes after their urges. And we're going to talk about the real world. Sex and especially porn pacify a large majority of men in and out of relationships. That's why they keep their families intact. That's why they are not going to go to these schools and shoot up everything. Porn is something that actually helps pacify society, even though it has its drawbacks. Uh, for the most part, overall, I think it actually helps society run a little bit smoother. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Fatty. Dusty, to you.
Yeah, as Fatty alluded to, this question is not taken in a vacuum. In a vacuum, it might be easy to say that corn is a negative and we would be better off without it. But if you look at the circumstances surrounding this question and our lives, it becomes obvious that any alternative to corn is one that is worse, rapidly worse, one in which there's censorship and the things that can and cannot be said are dictated to you and for you. So that's really all my opening is.
Thank you. And Martae.
You have a beautiful voice.
Muted.
Beautiful voice, sir. Beautiful voice. You're muted, Martae.
Martae, you're muted, honey.
There we go. Okay, hello, sir. Thank you for having me on this illustrious panel with my fellow brother Andrew and these two unfortunate degenerates. This is such a big topic in society, so I've decided to take a different route in this debate. I'll explain. I'm actually going to argue for my opponent's side and actually help you guys out a little bit. You've already got some amazing uses and purposes and preferences to add to society with probably how corn is consumed, I bet, by your regard. People generally will get bored with a lot of categories because corn doesn't help you with actually acquiring skills to engage with real women. And Fatty, we need solutions to your problems on your end. These are glaring issues that I see. When people run through the BBW categories, BBC categories, interracial categories, and so on, they'll become more desensitized to not only real life and categories and relationships. Just like subscribing to an OF account, you'll get bored if you got the same photo of a woman's foot posted over and over again. They then need to see more riskier stuff. Like when a corn star doesn't do BG content for the first time, she makes the killing because everybody's anticipating getting blue balls, waiting for her to use something real. The only problem to this is that too will get old. Here's my solution for you guys. Instead of fake, we just make things real. New Jersey, where it's not illegal and there's more gray area, I'd say, the mother who bangs her son who's over 18 will actually be the mother as long as she's hot and on birth control. Women who are actually stuck in positions like laundry machines, predicaments where they're incapacitated and get signed a waiver saying they'd refuse emergency services and have a film crew in a state where it's illegal to film, pay handsomely for the genuine predicament to be filmed in the act of being done as long as it's proven genuine with real EMS helping afterwards. Whenever people see movies with the tag based on a true story, not only does it help breathe life into the issue of running out of bad scripts, but real and legal scenarios will help you solve your issue of genre completion and boredom with corn. Also, to help with your dilemma of real effects of corn, we had 500 people in the last few years pass away. People are still masturbating to videos of already deceased people on Pornhub. What if we also had deceased people who were concubines that people's families signed waivers to? Since we already have people jerking off to those deceased people who are already videos online, this also solves your dead porn star issue because we have the real thing. Because how will any of this be different from what I just mentioned? Now that I solved a bunch of your problems, let's start the debate from here.
Thank you, Martae. Andrew, to you.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Let me re-pull my notes.
Sure, take your time.
Somebody did that homework.
Last minute homework, I like it.
Yeah, not really. I was actually taking notes of your guys' opening statement. So, Martae, unfortunately, he's a much more charitable individual than I am.
Yeah.
and he's like actually willing to give you guys arguments, and I'm literally not willing to do that at all. I'm not going to give you a single argument. I'm going to respond to your arguments, and you're going to have to back your bullshit up. So let's start with this. You said porn pacifies. This is from Fatty. Porn pacifies men in and out of relationships. I don't even know what the fuck that means. You didn't elaborate at all. I have no idea what porn pacifies men in and out of relationships means. I think what you mean when you say this is that it keeps men more docile. And you seem to allude to this because you say, well, I mean, because we're not shooting up schools and shit like that. Well, this is really fucking stupid. Let me explain why. You do realize that we can look at the historic standard in the United States pre-porn being legal. And guess what we don't see a lot of? School shootings. It's a stupid fucking argument. Second, porn prevents people, this is from Flow State, something censorship. Boy, this is a fucking brilliant argument from you, Flow State. I would love to hear how this is good for society. Porn is good for society. That's the case, right? Is it bad? No, it's not. I'm sorry, from your end. No, it's not bad. You're saying it's good. Tell me how it's good. How's it good? Well, the only argument I've heard is that it pacifies men in and out of relationships because they don't shoot up schools. And it's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We can literally go look at the standard and see that before it was ever legal in this country, nobody was shooting up schools. So I want to hear an actual argument here. That would be swell. Let's start with that.
Yes, it's called interpretation.
Hold on. Thank you, everyone, for your opening statements. And just full transparency to the audience, Andrew is kindly stepping in for Teriak this evening. I don't know where he is. He's a no-call, no-show, so we'll figure that out later. And also, due to the fill-in, we are only going to have the debate for about 1 hour, and then we will shut down with closing statements, read and respond to super chats, and then we will go into open panel dumpster fire.
Yeah, I got riots to cover tonight, boy. Sorry.
Fair enough, and we honor that.
You can't take away my fun.
Gentlemen, the floor is open.
So if you repeat and you say that things are stupid, they don't become stupid just because you said it 7 times. In and out of relationships means men in marriages are coping with their lack of sex and affection with relationships, with porn. You can literally go through OnlyFans models or several studies, prostitution. These not just single men actually medicating themselves with porn. Married men are one of the biggest suppliers and actually entertain most of these things.
Yeah, sure.
You keep talking about the past and you say, look at the past, look at the past, look at the past. The best way to predict the future is to look at the past. You know what those armies add in the back of the platoon? Prostitutes. Because we know that men that actually are sexually not frustrated, they will be more, they will function better, they will act right, and they will do what they need to do.
Okay,
when
well,
you frustrate, when you porn is not the
I mean, how much fucking longer are you gonna go? Let's go point by point.
As long as
I want to go point by point.
As long as I want.
You want to go point by point?
Yes,
fucking wuss. What a fucking wuss, dude.
I don't have pen by pen.
Fine, just filibuster the whole fucking debate, dude.
Fatty, go ahead and finish your thought, please.
Porn is just a release valve. People are going to indulge into sexual acts that you want it or not. Porn doesn't make people degenerate. The degeneracy is already here. Porn is just a valve for you to release your sexual urges so you can go and operate in real life. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you for the Gish Gallop. Can we start with just a single argument? Are you capable of doing that? Can we just do a single argument?
Absolutely not. I'm incapable of.
Okay, well then I'll move over to Flow State. You just heard it here. He said he's incapable of it.
There was too many of you to keep
track. Anyone that you want. Why you asking?
Whichever one you like.
Why are you asking?
Well, because I actually would like to engage in this, but if you gish gallop all over the place and you make a bunch of emotional appeals like it's a release valve, things like that, that doesn't mean shit to me. Let's start with effects. You do realize that corn in this country has not been legal for that long, right?
How is that relevant?
Yeah, it's because you're not talking about some elongated historical standard of me looking back 500 years and trying to pull that forward. You're talking about a historic standard of when your dad was a kid. That's the length, the whole breadth of time we're talking about is when your dad was a kid. That shit was illegal. Now, can you tell me, real quick, what do you think that these school shootings were like when your dad was a kid versus right now? Less or more?
There were less, absolutely.
Yeah,
less.
there was a lot less. Steve, what about
How
the
did they
gender?
define?
Yeah, but
Yeah. So
causation-
hang on.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly. You're right. Causation is not, or correlation is not causation. I
Mhm.
agree. Correlation is not causation. But that
Yes.
was your argument. Your argument was that there's a correlate between men engaging in pornography and less shootings. That's
Yes.
this is absurd, and here's why. Because we have a historic standard, not from many, many hundreds of years ago, but from a few decades ago, where we can clearly see that porn has nothing to do, or people engaging in it, nothing to do with school shootings going up or down. It's just that's why it's a stupid argument.
So sexual frustration doesn't have nothing to do with kids shooting schools and develop this type of behavior. While every single school shooter, for the most part, is sexually frustrated.
Oh, that's
doesn't have a girlfriend.
well, that's crazy. People are having more sex now than ever. Hang on.
No.
They're having more
More
sex. Listen, bro. Not only are they having more sex now out of wedlock than ever. When your dad was a kid, you were more married. That's true, but people were probably having less sex. It's not just a matter of less sexual frustration here, bro. You would have to make
They're
an
having less
argument.
sex now,
You would have to make an argument that somehow we had a society in the 1950s, which was just when my dad was a kid, that was 10 times less degenerate than this, 10 times less violent than this, 10 times less drug use than this, but somehow introducing pornography helped with those problems.
So do you think he got it? So pornography got those problems worse. There's your point, right?
Yeah, of course it did.
So why do you explain Japan? Japan has one of the biggest industries of corn. They have they have very risky stuff, and they are one of the most polite, docile society in the planet. If porn increased it, why can't a society like Japan be one of
so
the
you're
most
talking
advanced and polite society? Explain that to me, please.
Yeah, this is really funny that you bring this up. So Japan, technology-wise, is on par with us. That's true, but culturally, they're not. You know, culturally, Japan has always been about 20 to 30 years behind the United States. The cultural degeneracy, which is there, they've always had a long kind of institutional method of prostitution that has been ingrained in that society. It is not the same society as Western society. It does not operate the same way. It's never had the same traditions, and it uses an honorific society. We don't have that. We have a society based on law and order. Their society is based on honor. So it's a whole different thing when you're talking about the distinction in culture. You're comparing apples and oranges.
Did you notice how you talk about the past? Japan had a very ruthless society, actually, as the Chinese. Right? Japan was not a place where
they weren't any more ruthless than the Chinese.
Japan was in a different place where people don't grape and delete and do it. They did one of the biggest atrocities to actually other people on modern history. Japan.
No, they didn't.
Yes. What the Chinese? What the
you talking about the Nanking? Come on, man. Really? That's it.
What the Japanese did to the Chinese has nothing to do with honor. Killing babies, do a grape competition about who can.
Yes, it did.
That has
yes, it did.
Respectfully,
I'll explain.
No. 1 second. You call everything degenerate. I can literally pick up one thing and say that's degenerate, but. Military Japanese soldiers doing crimes of war established universally in every motherfucking country. That's honor culture. Please explain.
We fucking nuked them. We nuked 2 civilian cities that were ginormous. We fucking nuked them, dude. And you're worried about Nanking. But not only that, yes, of course it's tied into honor. They had multiple Sino-Japanese wars. Their entire history is one of honor preservation, which included the revenge on Nanking. You literally have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You just sit there, dude. You just sit there.
So a drunk competition, situations where you already have cities dominated, you already invaded and accomplish your goal, and now you go on a stupor of 10 years drinking, raping, killing babies, putting babies on bayonets.
They were for 10 years. Well,
no, that's honor.
What are you talking about? That wasn't 10 years. What do you mean?
They were putting babies on bayonets and flaunting them to other military men.
Okay, I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain to you that a lot of that, first of all, a lot of that is highly contested as to what happened in Nanking. That's one. But the second is, I'm just going to grant it. I'm just going to grant that every atrocity happened. Do you think that inside of honor culture that somehow is preventative of atrocity? It's not. Not at all. What do you mean?
Oh, just like porn. Hey, thank you for making our point. Just like porn.
Which has more
It's not-
honor, corn or grape contests?
No.
What?
You
Flo,
said that they had an honor culture.
Do you understand?
That included grape
yeah. Do you
contests,
understand that you can't use the paradigm of what you and I think honor is when we're talking
Why not?
about when we're talking? Just listen, I'll tell you. Okay, when we're making a comparison between cultures. When I say honor culture, I'm explaining that the society is held together by their honor code, whatever that is.
You don't think that we can
Shut
assess
up,
that from our
shut up,
perspective?
fucker! Shut the fuck
No,
up
you
while you
shut up.
finish. While
You
you
don't
finish.
think we can assess that from our perspective?
Okay,
This is the
whatever, dude.
perspective we're
Fine.
discussing it from.
You don't. If you don't want to hear it, I won't tell it to you.
Stand by.
But you need to understand, we're comparing paradigms. When you're talking about a worldview paradigm of an honor culture, you're talking about what they consider honorable, not what you fucking consider honorable. That's nothing to do
Aren't
with
we
anything.
assessing it from our perspective?
No,
Yes.
we wouldn't be. No, listen.
We're assessing it from their
Again,
perspective?
if you say to me,
Whose
what-
perspective are we assessing it from?
so both. We're right now we're assessing it from both
We're
perspectives.
assessing it from their
Yeah.
perspective.
And
Yes,
even-
both perspectives. If you're trying
and
to make
even-
a cultural paradigm, yeah.
Sir, Japan is a westernized. At this point, Japan is become a westernized society.
It wasn't
Just like-
during World War II.
No, just like, but that's the point. Just like South Korea, if you bomb them and you actually go ahead and they adapt to what the Americans have to sell them, you are proving the point that they are not as different as us. Now, actually, matter of fact, they share very similarities with the West. The poor.
What?
The poor.
What do they share? They don't share shit. They don't share a language. They don't share a culture. They don't share anything. They don't share fucking shit. They have a completely different culture, bro.
They actually do. They are one of the biggest ups of entertainment. Both of us share the birth decline rates that we have because now it's very.
We share grievances.
Behind years.
No.
and years.
Japan is going when it comes to, for example, the birth rate through the same problems that the West is. The difference is this, right?
What?
They have a very highly, like their society consumes porn, and it's not just regular porn, it's anti and other things that we can talk on the stream at a high rate.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they still function. Is a very orderly society, and nothing happens. Now you look at the Bible Belt.
You would have had a better argument with South Korea because they outlawed porn. I don't know if you know that or not.
And if they outlawed porn, there's nothing stops it more than a VPN. But you said this: you can't stop the degeneracy. You said
so now you're making an argument against yourself.
No. You said it. You said it. You said you can't stop you can't stop people from doing what they did. Like you said something like that.
I didn't say anything like that. You just make it.
So you didn't say when I was talking about the Japanese being.
He said that we couldn't assess it from our position.
No, what I'm saying to you is that if you tell me, if you ask me for a reason for something,
yes.
In this case, you ask me for the reason, why is it that in this particular country with this culture, you can have this thing legal and it doesn't create the same kind of problems it does in this culture? You're actually asking me to make a comparison between worldview paradigms. So I have to both look at their paradigm and ours for why that would be the case. It could be the case. So hang on. It could be the case that it's that way because we're all just fucking crazy, degenerate fucks and can't handle it. Or it could be the case that they're all just so fucking crazy and degenerate that, you know, that's all they focus on. The rest of society doesn't matter. But none of those things are true, right? That doesn't get to the heart of the truth of the matter. You're making a cultural comparison and you get mad at me because I look at the honor culture from the perspective of those who are in that culture. So of course I am.
We can really only look at it from our culture, our paradigm, right? The one that we have. We can't pretend to step into someone else's paradigm. So from your paradigm,
yes, we can step inside of other people's paradigm. Why can't we?
Which is a better culture from your paradigm? One in which corn is allowed, or one in which there's honor behind grape competitions?
What?
That's what you said.
I'm asking you to use
what are you talking about?
You said that was the honor
use your
code.
paradigm
Yes.
to assess.
Yeah, you mean
our culture
do
versus
I?
their culture.
You mean do I consider it from the honorific of Western culture to see that as honorable in their culture? No.
So you don't think it's honorable to have grape competitions?
No. What are you talking about?
Good. So you agree then that having corn is more honorable than having grape competitions?
No,
hang on. I'm sorry. Was this in dispute?
It was in dispute. I think it was in dispute.
I'm super fucking confused. Was this ever? Did this something that came up at some point?
I think you're kind of making stuff up, man.
I don't think I'm kind of making stuff up. What did you hear?
You're pulling this out of thin air, man.
You didn't hear him saying that we couldn't assess their culture in which they grape babies?
No, I did say that you can. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that if you're making a worldview paradigm comparison, and I say honor culture, that doesn't fucking mean I think it's honorable, you dipshit.
And what's the point of you arguing from that perspective?
Because I'm trying to explain to you that there could be universalized reasons within a culture of why they can have one very degenerate thing that they can engage in while their society still stays intact. So whereas another culture, hang on, that has a different set of worldview paradigms, you introduce same thing, now you have chaos. Like alcohol to Indians, for instance. Not a big problem for Europeans. Huge fucking problem for Indians, though, wasn't it?
So if we just have the right culture, then grape will be okay. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, it still wouldn't be okay, but the society itself, socially, may be able to deal with these things easier or better, depending on how the society is structured.
Conversation. How does that make corn bad?
We're talking about how it makes it bad for our society, not for the Japanese society, right?
So,
and your evidence of that is that
my evidence for that is that it increases human trafficking almost tenfold everywhere that it's done, including in Japan. So, and you can look at the Yakuza stats for that. You can also look here in the United States, especially since the advent of OF. The child trafficking has increased drastically. I can give you all of the studies on it. You can also go to Rachel Wilson's Substack and pull them up yourself. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And when you go back, you move back through the historic standard pre-corn, human trafficking was not a huge issue. That was an introduction based on demand, and we don't need to have it. It's fucking stupid.
Where is corn consumption the worst?
Yeah, that's kind of hilarious. Like human trafficking wasn't a big issue when there's, for example, the transatlantic slave, when it was literally a bunch of prostitutes.
There was no such thing as a transatlantic slave in the 50s, bro.
Okay, of course. No, I'm saying people would literally bring a bunch of prostitutes on the back that were either voluntary and forced to serve the people that were in these wars and the military and all that. I'm kind of confused, and I'll grant that, right? You are right. It got worse tenfold. Do you think porn is bad overall, or consume porn in moderation is bad too for society?
Well, the prompt here, the specific question we're asking is if it's bad for society.
Yes.
Right? Now, I didn't think that we're asking if it's bad for every society which exists, but for the society in which I live. The society in which I live, it's definitely a negative, and it's way more. Hang on, can you let me finish answering his question, then I'll answer yours. Definitely, it's socially bad in the West. In moderation.
In moderation.
What's moderation?
Like if I consume porn,
you fap once a week. You fap once a week, bro.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because most of the problems that we talk about it is consuming it in a fast rate and doing it repeatedly. Like if I consume porn once a week, is that bad for society? Do you think?
I would actually make the claim bolder that it would be bad essentially for all societies. That the Japanese society would be even better absent the corn. It wouldn't be worse. I couldn't think of how it would be worse.
You didn't answer my question. Is porn in moderation? Is porn in moderation bad for society? Once a week.
Yes.
But this is actually
as
kind of.
But as a good comparison,
just 1 second, because it's kind of water in moderation is good, but if you have too much water, you can drink from water poisoning. Everything that you do too much is going, like water in moderation is good. You might be drowning if you get too much water. Like the point
if you need porn to prevent cheating.
Hang on. I'll engage with this. This is a good hypothetical. I understand what you're saying.
Everything if you do too much is going to cause a problem, right?
Let me ask you a question. If it's the case that you could add rat poison to the water supply, in your nation, but if you drank it in small amounts, right, it wouldn't be that poisonous. Would you recommend that we add it?
No, but there's no.
Why? Hang on. Why?
Because overall is going to have a bad effect. There's no positives about it.
That's the debate, son. That's the debate.
That's it. There is positives about it if you've got toxic water. If you have biohazards in your water and you need just a little bit of chlorine to kill those biohazards, you're better off having a little bit of the toxins.
See the moderation that we're talking about.
So but hang on. You're asking about something which, in the case use, is a multi-purpose, right? Well, you're talking about chlorine in this instance. I asked about rat poison. He said no, you wouldn't
What
add
is
the
rat
rat. You wouldn't
poison?
add the rat poison
Rat
because he
poison is
hang on, because he thinks that overall there's no reason to add rat poison to water that doesn't need rat poison put in it. So when you say everything in moderation, that I guess that's true in the same sense that it's true that if we added rat poison in moderation, if you didn't drink too much of it, it wouldn't be particularly harmful, but you would still avoid it. Why would we introduce in moderation poison to our water supply when we don't actually need to have it there?
Because there's benefits about it. And he actually got you with that because chlorine in high doses are going to kill you, but you wouldn't take tap water without them being treated with some type of chemicals in the water.
Yeah, it's not analogous here.
No. So this is why we talk about pacifying, right? There's a bunch of studies that say that married men are consuming a tremendous amount of porn. Those men is the better, like the lesser of two evils. Instead of you going around and getting a prostitute, married men engage in a lot of it. Instead of going outside and cheating on your woman, you fap into your towel and throwing that shit to the motherfucking cleaning on the toilet. It's way better than you cheating on your woman. What are we going to do with all these married men that are not having sex?
The problem is,
what are we going to do, Andrew? What is the solution if they're not going to fap to Lisa Ann?
Yeah, so the question of the debate is not what is an alternative to degenerates fucking masturbating because they can't keep their hands off their pecker. The idea of the debate is whether or not pornography is bad for society. That's what we're arguing about here. So the question becomes this then. Right? When you ask these pointed things, you're giving me a false dialectic. It's either a fucking Coomer degenerate has to masturbate in a towel and then wipe his hands on it or some shit, or all of society is gonna fucking crumble because a bunch of fucking men who can't fuck are gonna shoot up schools. That's fucking dumb, dude. And it's a false dialectic. So when we look at the standard, we can look just 50 years ago, corn was not legal. Where were all these problems? Where?
But we can look at where porn is still illegal. We can look at the Middle East. We can look at Japan. We can look at all the places with the weirdest tastes and fetishes.
Flosset, 1 second. Do you notice that he's doing exactly what we told that he was going to do? This is a perfect world where people are going to be sexual frustrated and they are going to pent up their motherfucking testosterone because that's the right thing to do. Andrew, ask you a question. What is the solution? These men don't want to cheat.
What?
These men don't want to cheat on their wives, so they are medicating themselves with porn because they don't want to go out and do things that are worse. I think this is a benefit for society.
Great.
It's better for you to keep your family and to go into Mia Khalifa than go outside and try to bring STDs home, babies.
Yeah,
and
I think it's better. Let me
ask this question.
Okay, go ahead, ask the question.
If you are not going to engage in porn, because porn will actually pacify that married man, what is the solution for that man that
don't do either? Isn't that crazy? You don't have to masturbate to Mia Khalifa or cheat on your wife. You don't have to do either. It's impossible, says the degenerate. That's not possible. How could you have a society where you're not fapping to an OF girl or fucking a woman? How is that? Listen, buddy. 40% plus of humanity who are men never replicated. They never had sex. They were never able to replicate. They never fucked a chick. 40% of all men who ever lived never fucked a chick.
No
okay?
answer.
I just gave you the answer to your false dialectic. You can't set up a false dialectic. They get mad that I don't answer your stupid ass false dialectic.
We are in 2025. Tablets didn't exist 30 years ago. Now we have a problem in hands. How do we solve this, right?
The same way South Korea did. You make it illegal.
No, and South Korea literally has the worst birth rate in the planet right now. So what are we going to do?
So if we introduce porn, they're going to have babies, bro?
I gave you time, sir. I gave you time.
Give them the porn, and then we'll get the babies.
I gave you time.
What they're doing down there isn't working.
1 second. I give you time. First of all, that's not even my accent. And you call me degenerate while you're literally smoking cigarettes.
I didn't call you a degenerate.
No, you said you literally have to smoke yourself.
I didn't call you a degenerate.
Okay, so yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I said you can't have the dialectic of it's either I'm a degenerate or. That's not calling you a degenerate.
Okay, so fair. So I'm not going to do the ad hominems. I'm going to save it for in 20 minutes. So this is what we're going to do again. And We want answers. You are very bad at actually giving some answers.
Dude, you can't.
No,
Okay.
you said you don't go from.
Hang on. Just take a step back, and we'll see if we can get some clarity here.
What's the answer?
When you say things like you're not giving answers, okay, fatty. Would you rather diddle a 10-year-old girl or 10-year-old boy? Answer.
You see, and this is
answer. No, fatty. Answer the question.
I will rather.
No, answer the fucking question, fatty.
Yes. So
which one? Which one? No. Answer my question. Which one? Answer my fucking question. Look at this guy avoiding questions. All he does is avoid questions. He won't answer a single question. No matter how many times I ask the question, he refused to answer it. That's what you're fucking doing. You don't set up false dialectics as questions, and they get pissed off when I give you non-false dialectic answers.
Where do you think there's more degeneracy, in the West or in the Middle East?
I want to point this to everybody watching, right? I didn't give him two options. I said, bring your own option. You asked me, what would I do? Fuck a 10-year-old woman, a girl, or a 10-year-old?
If you had to, which one?
My answer.
Which one? Answer.
Let me finish my point.
Answer the question.
I would fuck a 23-year-old woman.
Oh, that's not. He won't answer. He won't answer. He won't answer the question.
I will ask again. I will ask.
Won't answer the question.
I'm going to prove my point right now. You over talking me doesn't stop.
I wish that you would fucking just answer my question, bro.
If no, respectfully, you are going to have to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm not giving you two scenarios. I'm saying if man sexually frustrated on the relationship doesn't work.
That's already a false scenario.
If going ahead and fapping to me a Khalifa doesn't work, you are going to give me the solution to all these men that are sexually frustrated in a marriage, what they do with their motherfucking junk. See?
Yeah, okay. You're right, fatty. Hang on, I'll just ask it back. They're sexually frustrated, fatty, so they have to do a 10-year-old girl or 10-year-old boy. Which one should they do? Fatty, which one should they do, fatty? Which one should they do, fatty? Which one, fatty? Which one should they do, fatty? Stop setting up what you do when you set up false dialectics. That's how it should get when you set up false dialectics.
I would like to reset the panel here. Maybe let Martae or Flo kind of jump in.
Martae's still edging.
Flo,
and it's beautiful that we caught Andrew Wilson and now we're moving the conversation. Got it.
You didn't catch me in shit. I'm trying to express.
I don't ask a binary question. I told you, give me the solution.
I didn't ask you a binary question either.
Give me the solution.
What you did, fatty.
Hold on.
I'll explain so that you know. When you bake in.
We're not asking for, sorry guys, we're not asking for solutions. So I'm not going to force the answer to that question because I don't think it's part of the prompt in and of itself.
But it is.
When you set up,
I can explain now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Men staying on marriages is positive because they keep their family together and they are not going around and putting kids on women that they're not going to take care of. They're not going to get STDs. They're not going to get a bunch of things, right? Porn is a victimless crime, like it's you and your aunt, right? This serves to pacify the man so he doesn't go out and cheat on his woman because we know a lot of relationships, the affection level is not there. My question to Mr. Know-It-All, Andrew Wilson, was simple. Since I think porn is good because avoids these men from going outside and engaging with these situations, what will be the solution for said
I'll
men
answer.
than playing with their aunt?
Yeah,
I'll
answer. Do you understand that you bake in suppositions that I don't fucking agree with and then say to answer to the supposition I don't agree with? It's literally the exact same thing, fatty, as me saying to you, okay, based on my supposition that men must diddle kids, which kid should they diddle, fatty? It's the same, and I'm already baking in there that you agree with the supposition that men must do that. Okay. That's the whole point here, fatty. I don't agree with your suppositions.
So let's play with it. The premise is married men. No, it's cool. The premise is married men indulge into prostitution, indulge into OnlyFans, and indulge into porn.
Descriptively, I agree.
At an immense level because they don't experience the level of affection that they need in a relationship.
That I don't agree with.
Andrew, do you agree with that?
No. See, this is the problem. There's a part of that.
That's crazy.
There's a part of that I agree with as a descriptor. Well, dude, let me answer. There's a part of that I agree with as a descriptor, and then there's a part of it I don't agree with. That you took a logical leap one step too far.
Go ahead.
Descriptively, it is true. Married men engage in porn. I'm not disputing that. Married men engage in all sorts of sexual deviancy. I'm not saying that that's not the case either. My dispute would have to start, though, with the idea that they do it only because they're lonely or due to the fact that they're not feeling enough affection. That you would have to demonstrate.
So if I told you there's thousands and thousands of dead bedrooms in the United States, would you agree with that statement?
Sure.
Would you agree with that statement that
Sure.
if men are always going to have those sexual urges, so they have to find ways and paths to relieve themselves?
Now we went one step too far again. I agree with you. Hang on. I agree with you descriptively. Sure, there's tons of bedrooms that are dead. But the idea that men then have to fap or engage in porn because of that, we got to demonstrate that part, Fatty.
Okay. Do you think that men that are not sexually frustrated function better as functioning adults, as a society? Do you think that men that are not sexually frustrated usually are better for society overall?
I'm willing to grant that probably many, maybe most even.
Most?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's fair that a man that is actually sexually satisfied is going to be probably more docile, more happy-go-lucky, is going to go to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's good or not necessarily in a lot of cases, but in some cases, even most, I'll just grant it. Sure, most.
So if you actually stop impeding that because these men did either a binding contract or they promised to God they're going to only fuck one woman, is it fair to say that if they don't release the time that they think that they should release, they don't have the instant intimacy, the touch and all that, is it fair to say that they're going to have to actually look to release it somewhere else? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but maybe, but not necessarily that this has to be released in a sexual way.
So this is incredible. Why do you think all these motherfucking armies had a bunch of prostitutes on the back? Because it was bad for them or because it was good for them?
Because it was good for morale.
Make a lot of sense.
No,
It was good for
it's
morale.
good because the man that actually has some...
before they have a fight.
Go ahead,
So if
Mark.
you see this nerd saying, why do you think this prescription existed throughout history of boxers, saying to refrain from sex so they can focus on fights or tasks at hand? Do you think
That's
there's
not right.
other avenues where we can get this frustration dealt with? Men have
they can
always
build
looked
up
at
their
their
aggression.
histories and other avenues.
The best UFC fighter ever all the time, Mr. Bone Jones, would fuck prostitutes before the show, would get a
Right, that's
lineup
one
of
example.
he'll
We have a
get
whole
a
trope
lineup
about
of
this
him
stuff.
and he will still perform. That's anecdotal.
So that they can build up their aggression.
What we know for a fact
Yeah,
is
it's
that
anecdotal coming from one person, John Jones.
what we know for a fact is that multiple armies around the planet.
Yeah, and I'll
had
explain why that
literally
was.
had prostitutes on the back because
It's
they
true.
knew if those men were sexually frustrated, they would not have the morale, they would not function as well, they will actually be worse doing their job.
Nope.
the
Actually,
other way
here,
too.
I'll explain. So this is multifunctional. You can find this especially in Napoleon Bonaparte's army, but especially during the time of Empire, this was very common. You had what were called camp women. And what would happen is when you were drafted into an army or you were pressed into an army, you would take your family with you. Because it's not like people had houses like they do now. They were living in basically rundown ramshacks and things like this. So when they were pressed into service, they would take their family with them. What happened when they died? The prospects for their women weren't great. A lot of them turned to prostitution, and the generals of these armies didn't have the heart to turn them out. They would starve, and so would their children. That was one aspect of it. Another one is, remember, the average age of these soldiers was 16 to 19 years old. And so what would happen is they would go, okay, I don't want to die a virgin, or I would at least want to touch a woman before I die. The mortality rates in these wars were extremely high, right? There was good reasons why these were morale boosters for soldiers. Yes. And I could even grant, if you're asking me, should there be camp prostitutes for young men who are about to go into battle and die the next day? That would be a way harder argument for me. It's a good thing we're asking if they're good for fucking society or not, Fatty, and not if they're good for soldiers who are going to die the next day.
Yes, because you admitted that if we are sexually frustrated, we are actually going to function worse. So by actually allowing them to...
I never granted that.
Respectfully, Mia Khalifa saved more people than the Private Ryan. Respectfully, like the
Prove
fact
it.
that
Prove it.
The fact that this man... No, I'm having a conversation with you, and the same way that we were talking about...
No, that's a claim. You prove claims.
I
prove your claim.
So this is how I'm going to prove a claim. Go see how many views this Private Ryan has on his movie and how many views Mia Khalifa has on X videos.
How does that prove your claim that Mia Khalifa has saved men?
I guarantee you, her impact in society is way higher than whatever the.
I got it. So if I can show you a video of a hostage getting beheaded and it has more views than Saving Private Ryan, then that ipso facto has saved more men than Saving Private Ryan?
Absolutely not. The point is,
I'm gonna just sit here now and turn it over to Martae, Fatty. I don't even know where to go with you, bro.
Funny, you think you got me, but you didn't. There's nothing positive that comes from watching that video. There is positive from you jacking off to Mia Khalifa.
Whenever you can prove that, I'm waiting.
Oh, sir,
Fatty, do you have a demonstration?
No. I got you. Let me prove it. Do you guys believe in the term post-nut clarity? That men function more when they get the nut off. Do you agree with me?
What about post-watching Private
No, we are going to stay right here.
Okay.
No, not what about? Not
Bro.
what about? We're going to stay right
Look,
here.
I'm happy to engage with all of your hypotheticals. They're easy to turn around because you haven't thought them through. I'm happy to engage. Sure, yes, men have post-nut clarity.
So you
Absolutely.
consider that when a man nuts, he actually functions better. He has a focus. He has a drive. He's more societal because he's not sexually frustrated. If you believe in post-nut clarity, all these married men that have dead bedrooms can literally come on their towel and say, you know what? Let me go take care of my family because I release my frustrations. You still didn't answer my question.
Okay, Fatty, if that's the case.
No,
you can't make a claim and then not let me engage with the claim, Fatty. How long, Fatty, how long does post-nut clarity last?
I would say probably, I don't have, actually, I can prove it.
About 30 minutes?
I can prove it.
Hang on, Fatty. About 30 minutes, Fatty?
I don't know. What is the length?
So do you think prescriptively men should be fucking whacking it every 30 minutes so they can be as clear as possible, Fatty?
Hey, Andrew, I'm a fast learner. Prove that I'm a very fast learner. Prove that post-nut clarity only lasts 30 minutes.
I'm asking you, how long do you think it? I asked you a question. Hey, I asked you. Hang on. It wasn't a claim. I asked you that as a question. How long do you think it lasts?
No, you conceded that it actually is better for men. I don't know how many 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day.
Well, how long do you think?
Yes. So
how long do you think?
I don't have a study to comprove it. That's your claim. You asked me
I didn't.
something.
It's not a claim. It's a question.
No, but the thing is, you agree with the claim, even if it's 1 second, right? You have to answer my question, Andrew. We are solution-based over here.
Okay.
If I have a woman and I have a dead bedroom, right? And you think porn is not a way for me to medicate themselves so I can take care of her and my kids and stay more 6 months, a year, 2 years. What will be the solution to Mr. Andrew Wilson, sir? What?
Oh, gee, this is going to blow your mind. You ready for this? Instead of masturbating to porn, you fix your marriage so that you don't avoid the fixing of the problems in your marriage by jerking off the fucking porn, Fatty.
No answer. You saw what he did. He didn't say.
How's that not an answer?
No, you said just fix it. Hey, do you have cancer, flow state? Just fix it. Your car is bad, flow state? Just fix it. Hey, you have everything. Everything is just fix it. No. Hey, I said we are fast learners over here. You are going to explain it. You are going to explain it. No. Everybody.
Okay, I'll explain. Go ahead, Patty.
You are going to explain how do we fix it. Go ahead. You have the floor. I'm glad.
Here's how we fix it.
Yeah, and by the way,
we start fixing it by getting rid of no-fault divorce and mandatory waiting times on marriage, and by fixing child custody, and by the person who cheats getting to nothing when they leave the marriage. You start fixing it like that, and then after it's fucking fixed, you also tell fucking men that they need to stop jerking the fuck off, and they need to work on their fucking marriage, and tell that bitch to shut up and suck the fucking dick.
Yeah, so my accent is not as bad as you trying to open pickle jars. So now that we got that out of the way, and
olive jars, get your facts right, dummy.
And thank you very much for coming with the beer, because you look like a weirdo when you don't have one. So the conversation that we're having once again, and I said this on the
you gotta grow that strip right there. Is that because too many men have come on your face? You can't quite get it in?
Hey, no. The fact that you have to smoke because you miss dicks in your mouth is what is actually making me.
Do I miss dicks in my mouth?
I miss him so much. I miss him. So now that we got the pleasantries out of the way, sir,
make me quit smoking.
Hey, did you notice? I want to point this out to everybody. He talked about the perfect world. He didn't talk about 2025. He talked about the world where the divorce court works and is no fault divorce and all those things. This is the perfect world. This is not the world of
perfect world.
because the courts are biased towards women, and these men they have to wait.
Got it. So let me get it right.
No, you don't got it.
No, I don't got it. Okay.
I have a sexual in my
I know.
hand.
So in a society where there's murder, it can't be fixed because what are you going to do right now because people are getting murdered? It's fucking stupid, dude. It's dumb.
You are not going to move the conversation. And even Mr. Enigmatic is spamming the chat because you are in danger. So listen to me, right?
No, I'm in danger.
No, you are talking about the future. I agree with you. In a perfect world where the divorce court on 50-50, I'm talking about right now, sir. These men that is on a 7-year relationship and doesn't have the laws on his favor, he doesn't have nothing. How does he fix his dead bedroom without going on and jacking off to a porn star? Please give me the fix.
How does a man? Okay, well, let's see if we can think of any things that men could do to fix their dead bedroom other than jerking off to porn stars. Well,
yes.
They can start by having conversations with their wives. They can get counseling. They can work through the church. They can do a million fucking things to try to get their relationships on track rather than jerking off to porn stars. I don't know why you think it's more humorous to tell me that humans who are social animals who work through problems every day, especially in marriage, men and women fix their marriages every fucking day. I don't know what you're talking about. That the only choice that men have rather than attempting to fix the problem, or that women have, other than trying to attempt to fix the problem in their marriages, is that they have to jerk off to corn, is one of the worst arguments I've ever heard in my life. And you would need to demonstrate why it is that they can't fix marriage other than fapping.
No, because have you ever tried to ask your woman for a blowjob? That's the worst blowjob you're ever going to get in your life. It's the worst blowjob you're ever going to get in your life when you have to beg, hey, baby, can we please stop this so I can have my sexual crumbs?
You're supposed to have your priest ask for you.
You are detached from reality, sir. You keep talking about the enforcement mechanisms.
What?
You don't have to. You don't have no rights and you don't have real power if you can enforce it. On the secular United States of America, how do you enforce that your woman has sex with you when she says, no, Andrew, fuck the therapist, fuck the pastor, fuck you, your mama, your daddy, and everybody you know. Enforce it. Explain.
You can't force it. What do you mean?
Enforce it.
Yeah, the only way that you could force it would be to violate the law, yeah.
Oh, so either she gets her way or she gets her way. And if she doesn't get her way...
How is she getting her way both ways?
You know what I don't need consent to? Jack off to me, Khalifa.
You know what else you don't need consent to? Getting a prenuptial agreement?
Sir, a prenup doesn't stop you from sexless marriages. If that woman decides that she doesn't want to
actually, let me show you some data on how you're wrong there. Not only does it assist greatly with not having a sexless marriage, but it also most of them are actually upheld in court. Isn't that amazing? Especially when they're done right. But here's the hang on, my turn, Fatty. I just let you go on your stupid diatribe.
Go ahead, sir.
Your entire argument here, right, which you still haven't demonstrated, is that the only way in a sexless marriage for the pathway forward for a man, even though there's thousands of pathways forward, is that they must go on OnlyFans and jerk off to Mia Khalifa or some chick like her.
I never said it's the only way. You can get a mistress.
You get other types of porn?
No, sir. You are going to listen to me again. You can subscribe to. You can get a prostitute. You can get a mistress. You can get a work wife.
How does that fix your marriage?
Oh, no, let me finish.
How does that fix your marriage?
All those things are way worse than jacking off to a random person that you're never going to meet in your life.
How does any of this fix their marriage, Fatty?
No, sir.
Sexless marriage ground for divorce?
My solution is the lesser of two evils. I will rather have a man jerking off than going outside and fuck a prostitute or put a kid on a mistress. You don't have no solutions.
I think that's fair. I think this fair critique is fair, Fatty. Hang on. I'm willing to engage with it.
Let me go to the prenup thing.
Are you ever? Hang on, Fatty. We don't even. Hang on. One point at a time. Let's start with this. I want to start with this, Patty. I want to start with your point on this.
For one day, sir.
God, this guy will never shut the fuck up, so we can't actually engage.
We are the same. I learned from you.
Good Lord.
You get frustrated because people are over talking.
Fatty, do you want me to engage with the point or not?
No, I want to talk about the prenup thing that you said.
Okay, fine. Go, Queen. Go off, Queen, and then I'll sit here and then I'll ask you. Go ahead, Queen. Come on, Queen. Come on, you go, girl. Yeah, there you go, girl. You go. Go off, Queen. Go off, Queen.
The prenup doesn't protect you from child support. The prenup doesn't protect you from spousal support. The prenup doesn't protect you from alimony. The prenup doesn't protect you from that woman taking your kids from you. It doesn't protect from that woman deny you sex, stop cooking. Nothing of those things can be included on the prenup. So when you say prenup, nothing on the prenup can say, if you don't give me sex 3 times in the week, I am able to divorce you. You are making shit up. Now
this is hilarious because we weren't. We weren't asking about. Yeah, we weren't asking about the other tangential factors. We're asking about one factor, which was sex. Can prenups assist? Shut up, fatty. Can prenups assist you? I'm going to tell you. Can prenups assist you with getting more sex in marriage? The answer is yes, fatty. And there are studies for that. That's what I pointed out. You went off on a bunch of tangentials, which I never said. Hang on. Which I never said once. Also, on top of this, fatty, this is a great critique. Andrew, what are thousands of ways that you can go about trying to do things other than fapping inside of your fucked up marriage? Okay, you know what? I'll grant that I can only give you hundreds of solutions that you don't agree with. Fair enough. But Fatty, look, I'm going to now ask you the same question back. Fatty, can you explain to me how your solution of having men fap to corn is going to help them fix their marriage?
Is not going to help fix their marriage.
Right.
Marriage is for the next generation. It was going to help them do the societal responsibilities that the man has. If I have to take care of my woman, and I have to take care of my kids, and I have to stay for the kids so we can go to college and have a 2-parent household and he can get better results. Me fapping to my woman instead of leaving her because she's giving me sex in 3 months actually helps society overall. Even my solution that is deemed bad actually has some positives. Can you give me a solution, Andrew?
Yeah, giving you hundreds.
Tell me, man, to do that is going to make them.
There are hundreds of solutions which are tried and true that people have fixed their marriages with inside of sexless marriages. In fact, there are now many instances of women who will actually, I couldn't believe this myself, but on the latest studies I just saw, they're actually losing weight when their husbands say that they're too fat. They actually are going out and losing weight in order to. Yeah, I mean, but what if a meteorite strikes him in the fucking head? The point is, hang on, Fatty. There's hundreds and hundreds of different ways in which you can attack the problem of fixing fucked up marriages. Each is an individual prescription. For you to say, though, wait a second, I just don't think that any of those are particularly effective. It's like, okay, but your way, by your admittal, is not effective at fixing the marriage at all. It doesn't do anything to help the marriage. So here's my question. Hang on. Here's my ultimate question to you then. Since it doesn't assist with fixing the marriage, don't you think that men should take the energy first, and women, right, inside of their marriages before they do anything else to try to fix and address the issues in their marriage? Yes. Okay. So then if that's the case, don't you think that would breed animosity between husbands and wives if they're fapping to fucking corn and the other partner knows it?
No, more animosities when you want a person to do what they don't want to do respectfully. And once again, you are an easy target, right? You keep talking and I keep hearing you talk about enforcement mechanisms. If you don't have the force and if you can enforce, you can enforce sex or a woman losing weight in a marriage. You are still going to get God. Let me ask you a question, sir.
Go ahead.
If you, Mr. Enforcer, with your prenup, ask your woman, you need to lose some weight. And she says, no. What are you going to do to enforce that?
Divorce her and bank on the prenup. Duh.
So you are going to get God. Congratulations. You got God. Now
having understanding that sometimes the threat of knowing you'll do a thing in a relationship can often fix the relationship itself. But not only that, Fatty, the biggest hole in your argument here that makes no sense is like, even if we outlawed porn, men could still fap, dude.
That's not what men are. Visual creatures.
Yeah, they can fap to the JCPenney catalog like they did in the fucking 30s, dude. What are you talking about? Why do we need to have naked women on the internet who are young, 18 years old, you have massive companies who are running exploitation scandals. You're having men become highly addicted on top of all of that shit. You have an increase in human trafficking, all of these horrible social ills for society, and your thing is like, but men need to be able to fucking goon and coom and fap, and it's like, they still can, fatty. Even under my system, where we outlaw all porn, men can still fucking spank their fucking wake, bro.
Is because the genie is out of the bottle. You could be drinking Sunny Delight every time I watch your streams. You know what you're drinking? Alcohol, because it's better. The genie's not going back to drinking Sunny Delight.
Yes, it will. Yeah, in fact, we will outlaw porn. You will watch. Yeah, watch, fucker. We're gonna outlaw it. Watch.
Let me finish.
Watch the genie get stuff right back in the bottle. You fuck. Watch us. Watch us do it.
Let me finish. You literally was bragging about being drunk on a debate, and you still won. I saw a comment that you did a couple of days ago. It's an old video. You drink alcohol because water and juice is not making it for you anymore. Now that you tasted the real thing, you are going to go ahead and drink and drink and drink. Once these people experience porn, OnlyFans, and all these things, it's very difficult to go back to magazines. But the question for you, sir, is this. Would you rather a man stay on a marriage and do his duties, his societal duty, and stay on a marriage that has no sex while he faps? Or, and you can sidetrack this, go outside, ask for a divorce, and become a bachelor and do what bachelors do? What you rather have, sir, as a society?
Okay, so this dialectical question, I'll answer it with a direct yes or no, but I am going to give you the caveat first that you're just asking me, would you rather drink rat poison or would you rather drink fucking dog poison? And it's like when neither thing needs to be drunk. So I'll answer the question directly. Yeah, I think that if all that's happening in the marriage is he's fapping sometimes and it's preserving the marriage, in that one particular instance, maybe you can make the case in this false dialectic. So I'll just go ahead and bite the bullet. Doesn't hurt my position. Hang on. Hey, Fatty, doesn't hurt my position at all. And here's why. This fucking guy can still fap. Even if we outlaw all the fucking porn, we can fap. And if you were to say to me, but Andrew, what about the beer? You drank the beer because you tasted the nectar of life. And after you tasted that nectar of life, you could never go back to your Sunny Delight, motherfucker. It's like, maybe, but if this was the focus, which was ruining my marriage or a coping mechanism because my marriage was bad, me using this as a cope would be exactly that. A fucking cope. Just like fapping to porn is a fucking cope.
And you literally move the goalposts. People are recurring to porn because they don't have affection in real life. They are not going to, they don't go to porn and then they can experience affection. Most of these people that are medicating themselves with porn, they don't have an outlet. They don't have a woman next to them to actually fuck them. And even if a woman is there, is not meeting their needs. I never heard a man that got sucked off so well by a woman that says, you know what? Oh my God, I need to go and watch me again.
You want artificial affection? Is this what you want?
I want to, hold on. I want to open the floor to Flo and Martae. At least
I would like to just finish this last exchange because I got to go. I got to go cover some riots. So, Fatty, here's the thing that's so funny about this, and it just cracks me up that this is your position because it makes no sense. They can still fap. You would have to answer to this. Why is it that societies, pre-corn, right, the men who were sexually frustrated, unmarried in those societies, absent corn, why weren't they just ripping the fucking walls down, tearing people to pieces, and fucking ripping their throats out, Fatty? Why?
Because they had other outlets that we are on the same.
Oh, so there's other alternatives, Fatty. Oh my God, what are the other alternatives, Fatty?
That's not a got you moment, sir.
That's not. Yeah, nothing's a got you moment, even though I keep getting you.
Marriages are literally going down the drain because people just have more options. Now they are not settling with only water. Now they can get Sunny Delight. They can get beer. They can have vodka.
You're not answering my question.
No, I actually answered.
Yeah, no, you're not answering my question. What were the things that these interests, these things they could move towards that was preventing them from just tearing down the walls and fucking ravaging all the women, ripping everyone's throat out? There was no corn, and they weren't having sex with anybody. Nobody. What were these outlets, Fatty? What were they?
I can answer that. They were outside. They were climbing trees. They were swimming. They were doing a bunch of things that is not the regular day-to-day life of the regular person now.
Then I concede. Hang on, Fatty. I'll just say this last word before I go.
1 second, please.
I can't. I got to leave. So I'm just going to concede your point, and then I'm going to book out of here. You're absolutely right. I will give the prescription that men should be out climbing trees and swimming in pools and climbing mountains instead of fapping. Great point, Fatty. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. I really appreciate it. Got to get to the riots. You're a fucking idiot. Have a wonderful night.
Martae, I wanted to give you and Flo some opportunity if you wanted to jump in
Keep
open
on
it.
like the last 10 minutes, or we can go ahead through we could do closings and then just open the panel. Obviously the show is kind of on the loose end here tonight.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I'll say this. So, for Flo, I'm going to address you directly. If we deleted porn from existence and there was no black market because wives actually fulfill their duty, what negative impact to society would we see?
You would see that impulse expressed elsewhere. There's a reason why the most perverted places on earth.
Oh wait,
are
wives are
also most
fulfilling their
restrictive.
duties in my hypothetical.
Oh, and you're
What
okay. If
results would we
if
see?
everything's perfect on Earth, then everything's perfect on Earth, and you would have no need for corn in the first place.
Thank you.
Okay, that's
If
not
in
a
my
that's not a
hypothetical,
win.
duty is given at home, and we
If
have no
so
need
if
to
everything
outsource
is
this.
perfect, so your W is if
No,
everything is
not even
everything is
perfect. Not even. I'm not saying perfect. I'm saying if they did,
This is why I said
which
let's
isn't
open
always
it.
perfect.
I was trying to do you a favor.
If they did, which isn't always perfect, what negative results would you see? And you've conceded that there wouldn't be any.
Yeah, good job, good gotcha.
I mean, all fatties argued this whole.
But we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world.
That was my opening statement. They are going to pretend we are in the perfect world.
things. So, I mean, look, to Andrew's point, people are still going to fap. Even if we had our perfect utopia, even if we'd outlawed everything else in corn, people are still going to fap. There's still outlets we could do. The gym is one of them. Other means of communication, fixing a marriage is another. Going back to traditional values in American society is another one. I mean, there's so many other avenues, but I think you're cornholed to a certain point to where all you have is saving a marriage that's on life support. Can you tell me how a marriage is not on life support if you have to revert to porn?
There's a question for both of us, or I can reply?
Both of you. I'm taking on both of you right now. I don't even care right now at this point.
That's the same thing as saying man having another woman will put the marriage on life supply. It's not. Woman denying sex on like denying touch and affection of a man is going to put the marriage on life supply. I guarantee you, more relationship ended because their woman wasn't touching their man, then their man was dicking off to whatever porn star was in the internet. That is not actually
divorce is good.
Okay, do you think staying in a marriage where it's sexless is better or conducive, or just going to porn and then staying in a marriage that's not conducive to society
divorce
life?
Is good.
Divorce? Okay, great. So there's actually a solution to not having to go into degeneracy with porn. Can you, I mean, you've already conceded that point too. So, I mean,
you think that people who get divorced don't look at corn?
If you have a sexless relationship and you're frustrated and it's going to make you outsource your relationship to other individuals and parties, that's more conducive than going ahead. And we've already conceded that fixing your marriage should be an alternative to porn in fixing society, which Patty won't even entertain that, because in his dystopian future, you know, there's no way to do this. It's going to happen. It's more of an approach to nihilism. Porn's going to happen no matter what.
In a perfect world.
Increase no matter what.
What about the brothels before we are here?
Like they were world where everybody's getting
with my worldview, there's at least a fix and an approach to going ahead and fixing a recommendation.
Hey, Martae, you know why you were wrong, Martae?
You have no fix to marriages.
You know why you're wrong? Because the oldest profession in the history of mankind is prostitution.
No, that's not. That's hunting and bartering and trading. You're wrong on that too. Prostitution is not the oldest. You can Google this right now. Use your cheat sheet if you want to.
Women being using sex to have power, and men being having power to have sex. That's the oldest.
Do you think people needed to eat before they needed to go ahead and just fuck a bunch of people? I'm sure they needed to eat, right, and survive. Hence, hunting is the oldest profession. You're wrong on that.
No.
You've been wrong this whole debate, Patty.
Martae, are you a religious person?
Of course.
Right. Do you think Eve and Adam was fucking each other before they were hunting?
I mean, we had
Wait. What were they doing first, sir? Were they fucking each other, or they were looking for the mammoth? What they were doing first?
Well, what are you going to die from? Lack of food or sex?
Sir, no.
Would you die from food or sex?
Checkmate. Nobody dies from masturbating too much. Checkmate. Nobody dies from masturbating too much.
No. I'm sure they had to eat before any of this.
Nobody in the history of mankind that was deceased because he jacked off too much. Nobody. You can find it.
Fatty, you've literally said nothing right now at this point.
No. Find me a place in the history.
A bad example.
We're talking about like people going after their pleasures, drinking, smoking, all of them. Find the place in the history of mankind where a man died because he fapped too much to the point that he lost his life.
So that's a bad example, because I could show you histories where men died because they didn't eat or hunt. but they didn't die because they didn't have sex. That's a horrible example.
Yeah, but how did they get here?
People get here through means of reproduction, but you can't reproduce if you can't live through food. This is what came first, the egg or the chicken. And right now, that's a horrible ass example.
So that's
probably the worst example you could ever give, Fatty.
The same way people are never going to stop searching for food and searching for water, they will never stop for looking for either fucking somebody or jacking off on a way that they release their shit. You asking for these people to not do it is asking for a woman to close their
Fatty,
legs.
Can I ask you a question? If there was no women available and no porn, would people still fat?
Absolutely, because they need to. What is your point?
My point is that we don't need we do not need an artificial material or outsourcing any of this because people have proclivities. They can do this absent porn. They can do this absent women.
And you don't need the 12-inch dildo and a rose, but you're never going to masturbate with your aunt because now you're used to motherfucking rose. That's the point.
That's making my point.
No,
Martae.
Martae. People.
You're arguing to outsource things.
No, people are creatures of habit, right? That's why the prohibition didn't work. You are going to prohibit alcohol, and people are going to find ways of smuggling. You are going to prohibit drugs, and people are going to find a way of doing them. When you are talking about sex, people will find a way either to experience the real thing or to actually go to a brothel, masturbate, and all these things. So when you say this is a way where we could stop it, you could never stop it. You can only hope to contain it. And you know how to contain it? Porn, because people are not getting STDs.
You've already
people are not having kids out of wedlock. People are
absence of porn. You're still stuck, Fatty. You've already been decimated on this point already. Even with the absence of porn, people are going to fap. All you're doing is adding extra harm, extra outsourced resource of artificial means and not the real thing. You've already said people are going to fap with the absence of porn. You're stuck. This is a moot point, Fatty.
Do you live in a perfect world on the real world, Martae?
I live in the real world where men could fap with the absence of porn. This happens. Do you think people have porn provided to them in prison?
Martae, absolutely. But I'm going to make this analogy.
Wait, no. Do you think it's just given to men in prison, porn?
Probably they have some magazines there, but like a lot of them start fucking each other, especially female prisons. They literally turn lesbians because they are sexually deprived. Happens all the time.
Okay, so people are going to fap and do things even without porn, even when they're in a restricted environment. It's going to happen.
Martae, I see people attacking you all the time because you are a professional athlete, right? Is that a way that you can compete naturally? Of course, you can go to the stage and compete naturally. You don't need those enhancements, but you will never win nothing because you have to actually have those enhancements just like everybody else for you to be on a level of competition. On a perfect world, I will come here and say, Martae,
that's a bad example.
Don't do testosterone, Martae, because that's the not right thing to do. Just go natural and compete with these people. The reality is you have to adapt to the market. All these people are juicing to the gills. So for you to be a competitor, you have to snap from your real world and actually talk about real life. Real life, you're not competing, sir. I will never go back to my end. X videos it is. Yeah.
I whooped ass 4 straight years without testosterone, without any supplements or anything. I'm a bad example to use, Fatty.
For you to go to the highest level, of course, there's categories where
I'm an exception to the rule, granted, but that's a bad example. I know people that do professional baseball absent any of this, or other sports absent any of this. You can say that the person that's using caffeine has an advantage, even though it's banned in the Olympic. Things like this. We can go, it's like and you can say to what degree, but in the absence of this, would the sport be more pure? Would people still compete? Yes, it still proves my point. You're literally arguing my position, Fatty.
It will be bad. Nobody wants to see small NFL players tackling each other, skinny NFL players. We need the 250 pounds. You are telling NFL player, you are telling the crowd to say this. You know, friends, it's very bad for these players to take testosterone and become gigantic. So we are going to make them all scrawny and they're going to play football. You know what would happen to the NFL? Nobody would watch that shit because we need giants smashing each other. That's the reality. People are people of use. So once you are used to porn, once you are used to prostitution, once you are used to all these things, you can go back. It's like you telling the kid, you shouldn't watch a tablet. You shouldn't watch YouTube. You shouldn't watch because he's addictive. Because Try to put a pen and paper in front of a kid or a regular toy and see what he does. You are not living on the real world. You are living on a make believe world where everybody does the best. That's not
There's
reality.
only 3 drops of poison in there. You can drink from the well. It's not going to hurt that much. You can still ingest it. It's just going to be an uncomfortable existence and also, harm society, but not that much. That's your argument right now, Fatty.
When people are thirsty, people will drink salt water if that helps. When people are thirsty, they'll drink from the muddy water. Since the beginning of time, people didn't stop drinking shitty water. They were literally going to the well and drinking it. That's the human nature. We're still going to do it no matter if you want me or not. Why doesn't that expand to sexual relationships, Marty?
Can we have a well that's clean, absent any poison? Is that possible? Yes, it can be possible. Have we banned it in other countries? Yes, it's been banned in other countries. Has the murder rate increased in those other countries? No, it hasn't. Show me where it's increased because they banned porn.
Wait, show me where it decreased when they allow.
Show me in a country where crime increased.
None of us can prove the claim.
Porn. Can you show me an example of any society where this has happened?
No, this is opinion. None of us can prove the claim. You can prove you can prove it either. You are threatening me first. You can prove your claim too.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I'm just offering this as an example. If we ban porn, do you think that crime in society would rise?
No, because people are going to use VPNs. They're still going to engage in porn.
Even if we outlaw VPNs, engage in a hypothetical, would crime increase?
You keep going. People are going to find ways to get the fix. They are going to smuggle it. Andrew was talking about trafficking. If you outlaw porn and OnlyFans and all that shit, trafficking will skyrocket because you know what people are doing?
Great. I'm glad you brought that up.
I will get it on real life.
I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think that if we created an underground market of trafficking, do you think there would be more trafficking or less trafficking?
Let me think about it. If you create, it already exists.
I'm saying if it was banned, outlawed outright, and we were tougher on this, do you think it would be harder to traffic or easier to traffic?
No, it's harder to do it, but people are still going to do it. No, weed is outlawed. Everybody smokes in a lot of states. Everybody smokes weed. Cocaine was outlawed. Fentanyl is outlawed. Everybody engaged in it. Alcohol was outlawed. Everybody drinks it.
That line on logic, and I'll wreck you on that too. If we was outlawed, when it was outlawed, do you think there was more people smoking weed or less people smoking weed?
I would actually, if we go according to the prohibition when they stop selling alcohol, the people actually will start.
No, I'm talking about weed, not alcohol.
I don't have data to prove it, but I always saw people smoking weed. Even
logically, do you think that if we ban a thing, do you think there would be more or less of it if it was banned?
If you ban a thing, it depends if it's essential or not. I would say
anything.
More
or less of it if it was criminally charged.
I would say these, right?
I will say more of it. I'll say more of it because then you have a supply side demand, and so that.
Well, there wouldn't be a supply because it's banned. So
listen to me. Let me answer.
Commercialization would cease.
You don't want to have the answer, do you?
Go ahead.
The supply side demand comes when you take something that's cheap to produce, like meth, and then you make it worth more by weight than gold. Now you have a big incentive to drum up supply. When, in other words, without that supply side demand, you'd have people smoking Drano out of a light bulb. That's not real appealing unless you make it appealing.
Okay, not appealing. So what you're saying is you're leaning toward it's bad. So if we ban it, it's still bad. If we allow it, it's still bad. Your marriage is still on life support. If we're still outsourcing the sex, still bad. I'm still waiting through it.
But that's the point is the lesser of two evils.
I haven't heard good at all.
No, Martae, that's his point. It's going to be always the lesser of two evil. We are not telling,
no, it's all bad. That's the argument.
No, because because
then why don't we just outlaw everything that's bad?
Yeah, because
we can't. No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Porn bad. We can outlaw that. If there's an absolute bad, which I think we can ban it.
Outlaw it.
I'm talking about absolute.
It's a knee-jerk response from somebody who doesn't think about things.
Hey, Martae, this is actually approved like right now in 2025. People had the impression that YouTube, an American YouTube, was banned in China. iShowSpeed showed up in China, and there was millions of people that watched him every day, went around, chased him and all that. You banning something doesn't stop it if people have the vehicles to actually look at it. Let me give you another example.
That wasn't what I asked. I asked more or less.
When I went to Dubai the first time, and I was waiting for my companion because she was going to get there on the next day, I Google X videos. Oh, shit, this is banned. You know what I did? I fought the power. I got my VPN, and 30 minutes later, I was having fun. This is what people do. People will always circumvent the orders from their parents, the orders from society, the orders from the cops, because everybody here on this conversation, when we talk with kids and teenagers, you better not have unprotected sex. You know what they're going to do? They are going to still get that motherfucking coochie pounded, and they're going to do it no matter if you outlaw it or not. Sex is something that is natural to man or woman.
So, Fatty, do you think kids?
Just say this. If you can even stop man and woman from being promiscuous, which is something difficult, you have to take a shower, dress yourself, shave your coochie, get into the car, go into the other city, strip yourself, get on your knees. It's something difficult to do, and these people don't stop. You think me just doing www.abc and getting something banned, I can go to another website? Do you think they're going to stop something that is so easy? They won't, Martae. This is not reality. This is a perfect world. You will never fix it.
Are you mute? I think you're muted, Martae.
Fatty, do you think porn is a want or a need?
It's
Do you
both.
think a society can live without porn? Do you think they absolutely need porn?
Sex. I don't want to.
I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about porn. If sex was plentiful, do you think they would need it?
Porn per se is not a need. You expelling the thingies that you have in your balls absolutely is a need for you to function correctly.
Can people function without expelling things out of their scrotum?
They can, but they will function way badly and way worse. Sexually frustrated
people. Can you demonstrate that for me? Can you demonstrate how they function worse?
Sexually frustrated people are dangerous people.
Do you think they could find other means and outlets of doing this?
No, sex is a very specific thing. You
wait, hold on.
No, 1 second, because
can you demonstrate that's not possible?
No. I believe that you can. It's like methadone. You see what I'm saying? I believe that a person that is a drug addict or is addicted to a drug can use methadone. Is it possible? Yes. I think most of the people will never be satisfied with methadone, and sooner or later they're going to go to the real thing. That's why women are dildos and toys and a bunch of things. It's not because they want to suppress their sexual urges. It's because that's the best way for them to controlling them without being a host. And this was what
glad you brought that up.
Let me just say this, and you got it. And this was what I was going to say to Andrew Wilson before he ran away, right? No, he didn't run away. I was being unfair. He gave us an hour. I'm not dirty. He called me stupid. I was lashing out. So I rather have women masturbating themselves, shoving a 15-inch sword up their asses and all that shit, and medicating themselves with dildos than going outside and getting the real thing. I don't think that is a positive, like I recommend you to have a 12-inch dildo in your drawer. But looking at society as it is right now, I'd rather you have a bunch of toys in your house and do it in the house, go take a shower and do what you need to do, than you being outside having the risk of getting pregnant, getting disease and all that. This was our point all along. It's good for women to have sex toys, because if they didn't have sex toys, they'll be sitting in your motherfucking face.
Fatty, you make it sound like women have no control, like they don't have any agency, like they can't make their decisions to refrain from having sex. Like abstinence is not an option. You're making people sound like absolute animals. So here's the thing, Fatty, I let you go. I'm going to go ahead and explain this time. Yes. Do you think artificial stimulation can replace something that's real? Do you think that that's positive or negative?
It's like I said, is methadone. Is negative because you are finding a substitute for the real thing, but it's positive because it's keeping you from putting yourself in danger, and now you are horny, so you're doing a bunch of dumb decisions.
That's a negative.
The guy that your dad told you not to fuck. Yes.
It's not a solution. All you offer is mitigation and not a solution. That's all porn is, i.e. porn bad. That's all you have. The whole night, that's all you've had was it can mitigate, it sedates society, it does everything. But having a numbing effect does not have people deal with real issues in society. None of this ever is an answer from you. Not at all.
But Martae, this was going to be for 2 hours, the second part, right? I at least can find positives in consuming porn, right? I can find positives. You not leaving your woman, you not getting STDs, you not going to blow up schools, you not being sexually frustrated so you can function. There's smoking, there's drinking. Like, I don't like, for example, drinking. Andrew was drinking when he was here. I don't see no positive in drinking. I never saw somebody saying we should ban drinking. No, we say let's regulate it because we tried it once and it didn't work. Drinking kills millions of people every year, either directly or inadvertently, because you get in your car and you crash into somebody. The reality, once again, is this. You will never stop people from drinking. So the reality should be, instead of preaching something that will never happen, try to regulate it and make sure that it's on the right places so society can function and we can move along. You're muted. Oh, this is a date? That's crazy. Shout out to the Untouchables. Marty, you're muted. Martae, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. Am I tripping? Is it? I'm tripping. Is he muted? Martae, I think you're muted. Sarah. Am I?
I don't hear a solution from you at all. There's nothing coming from you but escapism and avoidance. That's all you're offering.
And those are solutions.
No, nothing. All you've offered is mitigating or delaying a breakup. That's all you're offering. What all me and Andrew have offered is actual real solutions, having conversations, fixing your relationship, doing things like this and not outsourcing it to artificial intelligence, AI, dildos and things like this. We're offering practical solutions. And you make it sound like people are animals, like we can't come together and concede on certain things together. It's possible, but you act like it's not a possibility, like we can't go to counselors. There's not other things we could do is work on these. As men, we've been fixing things since the dawn of time. Are we not fixers? Same as women.
Yes.
Women follow our leading patterns. If we go to porn, they will not respect us if we're subjugated to something else other than us. If we make porn a master, we're a slave to this other thing. Do you think that helps women respect us? No. I still have not heard a good argument for you how this is good, Fatty, at all.
No, but the point is, once again, is because Andrew could be eating chocolate cigarettes. He could be doing that. There's a bunch of chocolate cigarettes around. He doesn't choose chocolate cigarettes. You can find it without sugar. That will be great. You'll be entertained while he's not sucking on a dildo, and you'll be fine for a 3-hour stream. He keeps going to those because those feel good. He keeps drinking alcohol because he feels good. That's why I brought the Sunny Delight example. You will not stop people from indulging into hedonistic behavior because people are always going to choose what it feels good. But then respectfully and looking at the situation, and this is why I told you before the show, I don't think he's prepared for having these conversations. He keeps talking about enforcement mechanisms. If you can enforce something,
Andy, that's not my argument. He brought that up, not me.
No, the argument is you need to fix it. You need to fix it. You need to fix it. Talking with this woman is not working. That's why we're here on this place. This is a manosphere, red pill adjacent movement. If talking with your woman solve it, how many men that you think got divorced that talk with their woman and says, please don't leave. Please stay for the kids. Please let them have sex.
So, Fatty, your whole diatribe, he brought up.
I'll wrap it up. They went to therapy. They got the pastor. They got their mama. They got their sister. They talked with everybody, and that woman still left. So if he's not for the kids, if it's not working, why do you think me talking with my woman and say, please, can I get some sexual crumbs? Why do you think it would work? You can't enforce it. You can't enforce nothing. Either she does it because she wants to, or she moves along. So
there is enforcement. Can you tell me how prenups don't reduce the rate of lack of sex in households? That's been proven.
No,
that's already brought up.
The prenup don't enforce nothing because if she chose not to do it,
the numbers show this, Fatty.
which is happening in mass. There's nothing that you can do. If you can enforce it, you have no power. There's not a solution because the only thing she has to do is say no. You say, I have a prenup. It says the prenup doesn't say that I have to give you sex 3 times a week. So what you're going to do?
Prenups have been proven to hold power over relationships to a certain degree. All you're talking about is mitigating the inevitable outcome of a breakup that's going to happen, even if you go to porn, which is not a solution. All you're talking about is holding off some damnation that's going to happen in your way in tidal waves. All you're offering is mitigation, not a solution, which is a whole bad for society. I've yet to hear a solution-oriented approach from you.
No, I actually did. You are going to get that escapism. You're going to actually get those fluids on your towel so you can stay on the relationship.
More mitigation. That's all you offer. That's not a solution.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's reality. And think about it, right?
Reality is reconciliation, which is what I offer.
Yeah, but I'm not using Andrew and Rachel as I hope they stay together forever, right? But if you actually look, even if they have a prenup, Andrew has no power whatsoever because if she leaves him, she deserves a tremendous amount of child support. And probably if she actually taking care of all the bills, he's going to have to probably pay spousal support.
Great, Fatty, we can concede this.
One second. No, let me just finish that. even if he has all the money, all the church, all the people around it, he can do nothing if she decides to leave.
Yeah.
She actually is incentivized to leave because you still going to get cash and prizes. If she leaves, the prenup doesn't actually protect you from that. So now, if she tomorrow says no sex, you know what happens? There's no sex. Andrew is going to have to smoke more cigarettes because there's nothing for him. There's a reality.
Fatty, I can see that could happen. But though, here's the thing, though. Will it more likely happen with or without a prenup, Fatty? Answer the question.
Irrelevant. He makes too much money.
It's not irrelevant with or without a prenup.
He makes too much money. She will
No,
always
hold on. The stats bear this out. You can look at the stats.
She will always live with cashes and prizes. She will always live with cash and prizes, no matter
You're
what.
looking at an exception to the. Are most people Andrew Wilson and making a lot of money?
Absolutely not.
Great. So most people with a prenup, do you think there would be less or more?
No, because I don't think that works because he's not working. He's not working right now.
Have you looked at the stats, Fatty?
No, Martae.
There's a huge reduction.
Martae.
There's a massive reduction. It does increase rates of sex in marriage.
Martae,
we have these viable solutions.
Okay, so 1 second.
All you offer is putting off destruction.
No. Let's expand it. Is there any proof that show that men that have prenups consume less porn than men that don't?
I mean, that wasn't my question. Are you asking a new question?
No. I just want to make sure. Is there any proof that men that have prenups medicate themselves with porn, OnlyFans, prostitutes less than men that have prenups? Is there any proof that that's correlated?
Fatty, let's concede and let's say that they do. Let's say that they do have the same amount of porn use than the people that don't have prenups. What about the marriages? Do you think that does it still offset the less sex that they get? If they have prenups, they get more sex, right? But if you look at lack of prenups, there's a huge reduction in sex in their lives. So if you look at that, that's a benefit. Even if we look at the opposite, it's still good to have prenups. And this all you're offering is mitigation and not a solution still. Even if I do concede that the same men are still using porn in one situation, in the next, the sex life is still reduced in the absence of these prenups that we're having. You're still not offering anything, Fatty, even with this example.
No. I'm actually very clear with my answer. You just don't accept it because either is like, for example, you said the prenups will get the woman to have more sex with you in a marriage.
Let's go ahead. Oh, sorry, Patty. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
No, I'm just saying. I think your woman catching you jacking off to Mia Khalifa is going to make her want to ump you a little bit more because she doesn't want to lose it for her. Just
Patty, would you put a ring on a woman who has previously had sex on camera? Would you be more likely to do this, or somebody who had less involvement with porn?
Before you go into that, gentlemen, let's go ahead and I know tonight was a little different. We're all completely offbeat. And that's okay. We work with what we got. And so far, it's been entirely entertaining. Much appreciation to both of you for finishing out the conversation and really going toe to toe on it. I love it. But I know we all want to open the panel up and have some more fun. So if we can move into our closing statements, and then we'll read and respond to the super chats. Flo had to go. He wasn't feeling well already. So he went ahead and left. And of course, Andrew had his own show to get to. So Martae, if you want to start with your closing statement, please.
Yeah, for sure. We asked him if there would be a reduction, and he did admit he conceded the reduction if we do offer solutions. When we brought up things like prenups, he did admit that there would be. So he had to go ahead and go to another example of which men still use. That's neither here nor there. It still doesn't help saving marriages at all. All it does is delay the divorce that happens, which Fatty has still not offered a solution. And even absent this corn situation, people, which Andrew has demonstrated, people are still going to FAP regardless. And that's the thing, though. And if we asked if there would be duty in marriages and women fulfill these duties, would corn still be relevant? And they both conceded, no, it wouldn't have any relevance. But then they went off to some other dream world and said, no, that's a dream world. And then to which I'd have to ask, is it possible that we could still save marriages? They've never debunked this nor refuted this at all. They actually had literally no argument this whole evening, Flow State or him. When Andrew showed up, definitely dominated the whole discussion. Then I came back and picked up the scraps, which there was nothing to pick up afterwards. So just moving forward, next time have an actual argument and a debate, Fatty. That's the only recommendation I'd have for you next time.
Thank you, Martae, and Fatty to you.
Andrew keeps saying over and over again, if you can enforce rights, you have no rights. That's all he says all the time, every time. And you will agree with that. If I can enforce my woman having sex with me, I have no recourse. It's up to her if she does it or she not. I'm following the same logical path that y'all do all the time. If I can enforce her to having sex, if I can enforce her to lose some weight, if I can enforce her to cook a little bit more, if what I have to say is have a conversation with her, y'all are the ones that actually have no solutions, because men been trying to talk with women for the last 20 years. And he's not going nowhere. Women are as powerful as they ever was, and they are doing whatever the fuck they want. Talking with them doesn't work. So if you can enforce something respectfully, you have no type of influence or authority over them. They will do whatever they want. Finally, I would say this, and this was proven. All Martae and Andrew said on this debate was a perfect world. Talk to her, go to the priest, the prenup, and all those things, and it's a perfect world. This is if everything is perfect. If you guys you could go back to your end. You could go back to not watching it. The genie is out of the bottle. We are going to be, unfortunately, in a situation where if women don't control themselves, men can do nothing about it. So the best way to do it is actually to listen to the real world, listen to what is going around, and at least medicate yourselves with corn, because it's better that than you go in and go outside and getting an STD, getting a kid and all that. And they could never, ever, ever admit that. But you know what they admitted, Sarah? That post-nut clarity makes men think a little bit better. So checkmate. If I fab to Mia Khalifa, I will definitely function better and have less risky behavior, especially sexually. And I prove that's good, because once you nut, you have the cojones to go ahead and do your job as a father, as a brother, as a motherfucking executive on Wall Street. So he actually has benefits to society that this man ever released to something. This is not the general behavior. This is just a pressure valve that you are releasing so you can do your job as a human being. You're never going to get rid of that.